you gotta get your kids ready for the trip. Hey, I am Chuck the Bureaucrat, and I haven't talked about it in a while, but I really like space available travel. And one of the big reasons that I like it is because it's an opportunity for you and your family not just to spend time together, but to spend time in a way that welds you together as a family unit. When you take advantage of Space A, you can and you should take your kids along with you. But the fact of the matter is that Space A travel can be a little more like a military operation than your typical trip to Disney. And so today, what I want to do is I want to talk about how to prepare your children so that they can enjoy the Space A experience that much more. First things first, and this probably goes for all of you, bear in mind that it is very likely you will be walking long distances. It's been my experience that when my family and I travel, we walk about 20,000 steps a day, about twice what we normally do. That could be a big shock for the 7-year-old, and so it is a good idea before you actually travel to get them outside and walk some long distances. Ooh, and it might not be a bad idea if they did that with a little backpack. If you have even smaller kids, seriously think about bringing along a stroller. And I'm not talking about one of those all-terrain strollers that weigh 87 pounds. I'm talking about a light, portable umbrella stroller that you can pop open, use when the kid's tired, but at the same time, you can also snap together and easily carry yourself. Next, you're probably going to be spending more time outside than you're used to. And on the one hand, that's awesome, right? Let's sunshine, go touch some grass. But fact of the matter is, you might find yourself caught in some less than ideal weather conditions. So again, it's not a bad idea to do a little bit of prep work. Get the kids outside in all types of weather and think about what kind of clothing and equipment make you most comfortable. The next thing to think about with your kids is the fact that they are probably not going to become experts in whatever language the people speak where you're going. Two handy skills are Pictionary and charades. In most situations, being able to pantomime what you want or draw a picture of it can be incredibly handy. And so it makes sense that in the months leading up to your travels that you would sit down with the kids and just play some old-fashioned games. Another thing you might do as you start to get ready is think about food. And really there's two pieces to this. Number one, it's always handy if your kids are willing to share food. I'm going to eat half of this hamburger, you're going to eat the other half. The other thing to keep in mind is that depending on where you go, you might not get foods that your kids are familiar with. And so it might not be a bad idea to just practice trying new foods. There's no guarantee that you can replicate the foods that they're going to see, but you can certainly get them used to the situation of something completely alien is put in front of them, and that's the only thing they're going to get to eat today. Finally, you might want to do some exploration to figure out what kind of things do your kids actually like. I'm just going to make the point that if your kids are engaged in activities that they find rewarding when you're traveling in a foreign country, then that trip for you and your spouse, well, it's a lot more fun. So do they like museums? Do they like archaeology? Do they like parks? It might not be a bad idea to take them to different types of sites in the U.S. before you travel so that you know what's an exciting thing to do. One of the things that my family really enjoyed was what we called castle hopping. And this was just going to small, out-of-the-way, roadside castles or ruins and poking around. You didn't necessarily have to have the whole story of why this was here. It was just nice to get out of the car, look at some things, and have some discovery. Like I say, traveling Space A is a great way to come together as a family. If you want to see a fun technique, but also an incredibly important security measure, watch this video on how to prepare your family in case somebody gets separated.